What's up, guys?
All right, let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody out there listening. Welcome back to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. Podcast is sponsored by Fightback CBD. We're going to dive in. We're going to try and dive in a little more quickly than we normally do. Let's go around the room real quick. Let's introduce ourselves. Name, rank, serial number.
Hey, my name is Junior. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Felipe and Sofia Morante. Coral Springs, Fight Sports.
We have this thing, Alex, that we have Fightback CBD and Fight Sports. And we always say we're from Fightback CBD. So, Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself, then.
I'm Alex Kruger-Dobrota. I'm the founder and president of SubStars. I'm a blue belt at Fight Sports HQ under Cyborg.
Nice.
Drew Phoenix.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey.
What was it, episode 5?
Was it?
Episode 5, yeah. It's been that long. Yeah, you were with us in episode 5. Welcome back.
True. I'm director of operations of SubStars, a brown belt under AJ Souza. And yeah.
Milton Campus, the dummy behind this whole crazy idea. Milton Campus, Fight Sports Coral Springs, purple belt under Felipe and Sofia Amarante. All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it. I mean, I reached out to Drew when I saw this card. I said, "What the Sumo? What?" I mean, after I saw all the names, I was like, "Oh shit, what the hell's going on?" I said, "Hey, Drew, let's talk about coming back on the show." So I appreciate you coming down. You got right back to me. That was awesome.
He's our guest plug.
Yeah, right. So let me before we jump in, let's just our thing is giving stuff away. So I'm just gonna run down the giveaways real quick. So number one, we did launch our foundation GoFundMe video. So go check that out. It's in the description on the video and on the podcast sound. You could just go to GoFundMe and search Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. Please support. We had a good couple of days. We just launched, and we've already raised.
That's a great video.
Yeah.
That's a great video.
Yeah,
you might see your boy doing some techniques in there.
You look good, bro.
Secret squirrel stuff.
We might have found your new calling.
Black belt tricks.
So we got the foundation videos out. Again, please support. If you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, you'll be entered to win a $50 coupon code to the jujitsudummies.shop store. Right, so that's you comment in the video comments on this episode, which is going to be episode 13. All right, we're going to give away 2 bottles of CBD from Fightback CBD today. We're going to have you got it on the table there. We got Power Shield from Power X Core. He sent us a nice care package. It's kind of cool. I use this stuff for. We'll talk about this later too. I know Junior loves to talk about how much he loves to watch his belt. But we're going to we're gonna give some of this stuff away. I'm gonna put together a little care package. I got a whole bunch of stuff here from Flow Kimonos.
Patrons, man. Patrons are getting hooked up.
We're actually gonna give away. So we got the listeners. We're gonna give some stuff away to listeners. The typical CBD, some gift cards to the store. But you see the Flow Kimonos up behind you. We went to the Jits Kings event a couple of weeks ago in Miami, and we won. My crew that was there won all 5 of the gis. So I put some Jiu-Jitsu Dummies patches on them, and we're going to give them away to the podcast patrons. All right, these are guys that they donate money to the show.
Thank you, patrons.
Monthly. So thank you to those guys, and we'll give them a shout out in a little bit. We got some keychains on the table here from Flow and Roll, which I also got my shirt from at the last event.
Dope shirt.
So. Anyone out there that would like to work with us, sponsor the show, donate products, giveaways, go to our website. Yep. You want to just be involved, go to the website, go to our contact page. There are 2 contact forms there, so you can suggest somebody to be on the show, ask to be on the show yourself, or just reach out to us with anything that you might want to talk about on the show. You can find us on social media everywhere at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. What else? Alex is going to give away some tickets today.
Yeah, 5 tickets.
5 tickets.
Admission.
Awesome.
Let's do that.
General admission. We're going to probably keep those. We'll figure out if we're going to do those to the podcast patrons. If we'll give it to one podcast patron. Probably a little bit more difficult to give it to a listener since it's so spread out. But we've got some patrons here in Florida.
Or maybe we could do something on IG. Maybe we can do something with SubStars on IG.
Okay.
Do a little giveaway like that.
Very cool. We'll talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So. What do I got? I got 3 Marines here.
December
Right.
5.
You're surrounded.
Right?
Yeah.
when you stepped out of the studio, Drew said the only reason that you guys are friends is because you were Marines.
And because I was
you-
whooping his ass.
So let's start with, where did you guys meet?
We actually met at GF Team.
Yeah.
Through our mutual friend, my neighbor, who's also a Marine.
Okay.
All my friends here in Miami, coming out of the Marine Corps, was former military, and so I saw his shirt, I saw his fucked up ears, and I was like, "Bro, you train?" And then since then, he's trained at with AJ Souza GF Team, so I'd go train with him on the weekends. And that's where I met Drew, and we kind of clicked off. I think right off the bat.
Right off the
Very
bat.
cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. And we have, not only is Junior a former Marine, but we have Raul Benton, who's one of our guys. Like, we have this Jiu-Jitsu round table. We kind of like,
Dummies.
we switch in. Yeah, the crew of dummies, basically. So everybody surrounded with, and Janet's husband is a
right.
Marine as well. So everybody involved with the show, other than
awesome.
myself, is very either a veteran or very close to a veteran. So
That's great.
So one of the things that we're doing with our foundation is very specific to, we're going to pay for a full year of training for a vet, a first responder, or a child in need.
Hell
Maybe
yeah.
a kid that can't pay for a school anymore, parents getting separated, whatever the story is. So we're raising money now. We're going to have submissions come through, but the very first one's going to be for a veteran. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So I know you guys are involved with Mission 22, right? You got
Yeah.
Yeah, and I happen to be a veteran, bro.
yeah,
1 year?
Yeah.
Like
What's-
a whole year of training?
What's that?
brand new vets get. Come on,
I know,
man,
shit.
Come on.
You need
Come
to
on,
read.
Marine.
There's a disclaimer on the bottom of the website.
I guess
If
you
you're
didn't read
associated
that.
with the show. You know, you
That's
can't.
brown belt
There's always that
discrimination.
fine print.
You want to talk a little bit about your involvement with Mission 22? We can.
Yeah, so Mission 22, I really have a strong relationship, and I want to support them as much as possible. Just because starting out, it was really hard for us to get any companies involved as far as sponsorships or support. One, I started the company as a white belt,
Okay.
so everybody's like, "Who the fuck is this white belt?" And then he doesn't know shit. And then I'm trying to make these cool tournaments, whatever. It's hard to get brown belts to sign up. And then here, Mission 22 was the only company that really came back and was like, "Hey, yeah, we'll support you guys." They actually came out, sold a bunch of merchandise, helped promote, and so their whole deal is through CrossFit and Jiu-Jitsu, they offer scholarships for combat veterans.
Okay.
And so Jiu-Jitsu kind of helped me out, get back on track in life, find my purpose. And so if it could help me, I know it could help other veterans. And it's not really just veterans; it's anybody with that type of combat mindset.
So let's dive a little bit into that, Alex. Let's talk about your history, right? Where you from? Where'd you grow up? How'd you get into the Marine Corps and then into Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. My mom's from Germany, my dad's from Serbia. So I had all these different crazy perspectives, different cultures. But then I grew up in Cleveland, and Ohio is a big wrestling state. So I wrestled in middle school. I was into grappling, growing up watching UFC and Jiu-Jitsu and the fighting. However, what's interesting is when I was 5 in Cleveland, I almost got jumped, by 3 kids. And I was doing karate. My dad spent time in China. And so I did karate and martial arts and Bruce Lee, this and that. And
You hooked them up with some karate chops? Or what?
man, I punched the one dude. He tried to get my bike, and so I threw it's a brand new bike that my grandma got
You're
me.
not getting
I was like,
not
yo,
today.
I was like, yo, you can
Not
go buy that at
today.
Walmart. I don't give a fuck, And so then they cut me off and everything. And so I kind of kicked the bike into the main dude, punched him in the nose, and then screamed for my dad. and then they all fucking ran away, after I screamed for my dad. And since then, it's just ingrained in me that I need multiple threat engagement and strikes. And so that's why
How old were you?
I was 5.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so
That's
then,
some Spartan
birth of
shit
a
going on right
warrior
there.
right there.
and so then it was downtown Cleveland, factories, fucking shit everywhere. And then, but anyway, so I just did Muay Thai and striking for a long time. And then in school, I liked wrestling just because it was another combat related thing. But it wasn't until later, after high school, when I joined the Marines, where we did make map and combatives like that. And a lot of the things we did was grappling related, just so that we could fuck with each other without damaging our, bodies with strikes. Even though we did that shit too, that just took 340s instead of 2.
Right. It's a quick recovery.
Yeah, and then so anyways, in a real fight, I noticed that wrestling really came out. I know I did martial arts and kung fu and this and that, but just having a constant like sparring session to get it ingrained into your muscle memory, just really I noticed that in a combat environment, the wrestling came out. And so it wasn't until I met another Marine, a neighbor as well, who was training jiu-jitsu, that he's like, you know what, try jiu-jitsu. I train over at Fight Sports.
How old are you at that point?
I was 26.
This is
27.
Okay, so post-Marines, 27.
Yeah,
okay.
So this is after the Marines, 6 years later. After the Marines, I did boxing. I boxed on the FIU college boxing team. So I still like striking, but it wasn't until I met this guy that I was like, fuck it, let me try jiu-jitsu. And man, in the Marines, I was fucking people up with the wrestling background
alone?
and shit.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, all right, let me see jiu-jitsu. I show up, 6:30 a.m. class, who's going to be there, whatever. Bam, man, I got destroyed, and so it was like I got tapped out probably like 20 times. I don't know. It was crazy. But it was what the real shocker to me was I felt like a baby after I'm a freaking machine gunner, scout sniper, did McMap, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, all this shit, in the Marines, and here I'm getting tossed around like a little baby. And I'm like, damn. And so I got hooked. And so then after that, I was doing 2-a-days at Fight Sports, watching videos all day, ignoring my girlfriend, my dog, all this shit. Just, okay, I gotta watch
the
this
rest
technique.
of us.
Yeah, fuck. And because now you got the bug,
Yeah.
And then the thing is you have to be doing it to really experience it. Or you just get turned off and you go a separate direction,
I tell everybody, jiu-jitsu is you either love it or you hate it.
Right.
I don't really know anybody that's like, I go once in a while because I like to. You can't. It's just
Getting the
Right.
bug is the
Can't.
best part, I think.
Yeah.
It could be all consuming.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
And we talked about this before. Like, hey, is it weird to watch YouTube videos
What?
that are jiu-jitsu related?
Don't we all?
But here's the thing, right? Think about this. Think about basketball players. Think about football players. What do? They watch tape.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
So they
watch
review
film.
the techniques and they go back. And that's
you
what's
said you
available.
messaged me that question the other day.
right?
I'm like,
so think about it that
absolutely.
way. It's just like watching tape.
I'm
So I
a
don't
huge
think you should
proponent.
think that we're crazy about doing that. It's just one of those
No,
things,
man,
right?
I've still watched the same videos. I always talk about Jason Scully, who
Yeah,
does
we
the
grappling guy.
like 50,
I like that, the right repetitive.
60 techniques in like
I
2 minutes or something.
I could
crazy.
watch those videos till I'm 20 years in the game, and because there's so many moves, it's like I'm always there now, and he
Let me
gives you
try
that
that.
little move. So just kind of see. I just go back and rewind
yeah.
and watch the. I'm always there, or at least that's my level. I always skipped over the leg stuff in the beginning. But
Man, you
from
can't
white
skip
belt,
the
I
leg
still
stuff.
well, as a white belt when I started watching. But I find that my coaches never,
Right.
It wasn't.
they don't love you
Legs
watching
weren't-
videos, and I think that there's a little bit of an ulterior motive in there too. But they don't want you watching videos and coming and doing something stupid like
trying to
like
heel
heel hook
hook
as a white belt, right? Am I wrong? Am I
No,
right?
no, I feel you. And so, especially with the 2-a-days, what I noticed was my learning. It kind of got went in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
I know there's a plan for a week. Okay, we're gonna do, De La Hiva and then 3 different guard passes from De La Hiva, or Barambola 3 different ways or something.
Yeah.
And so then you progress throughout the week and it becomes ingrained. However, rolling, is for me, I notice is where I get sticks, like the certain techniques stick in my brain. And so I'm sure with everybody
I
else.
feel like that's that invisible jujitsu that you hear, right? That the Gracies talk about, right? That's that part. It's like it's the muscle memory that you don't even know is happening in the background,
Right.
just from the constant rolling or the however many sessions you do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and so that's why I liked my first video that I actually bought was the app was Jason Scully's.
Really?
Just because
Grappler's Guide, right? Grappler's Guide.
I just had
I
the
never bought.
app.
Okay.
It was like $5 or something
Yeah,
cheap,
yeah, yeah.
and then it's got so many different techniques. And for me, it's just I want to see the technique because then I'll mimic it, and I think I do a pretty good job mimicking it. And so before the mat, before we get the roll sessions, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try my Kimuras or whatever. And so he's got like 20 Kimura variations, blah blah blah. And so then it's like, all right, let me just check this shit out. And then, okay, let me do that. And so then it kind of sticks in the brain before the roll session. During the roll session,
That's
you're
a free flow in your fucking brain.
exactly,
It's like-
what the fuck's going on, But and so then it goes out the window.
Yeah.
But at least like for a second, maybe
You're thinking,
I'm
gonna go for
and
this
that
now.
one time might work. One time you just forget about it completely.
The other thing I let out I don't know if I've ever talked about this one on the podcast, but then I'd watch his videos but then I'd also search for sneaky BJJ submissions and that's where the wrist locks
Sneaky
are.
wrist locks,
Those are all the
yeah.
wrist locks, like the real sneaky, like
Yeah.
wow, I just got tapped. Like so I like those too.
Yeah, but in your history,
Travis,
in your history,
Stevens.
tell me about like your Marine Corps. So you went from high school, you went right into the Marine Corps.
Yeah, as well. No, so my whole idea was I was going to be like an investment banker and then join the military, go to college, party. I went to Arizona State because it was the #1 party school, #1 hottest girls at the time. And so I was like, fuck it, if I die in the military, I'm going to fucking party, you know? And so then I ended up partying too hard at ASU, went there for a semester, dropped the fuck out. And then I was actually going to join the French Foreign Legion. And so I went to France, told my family I was going to do a Euro trip so they didn't, freak the fuck out. And then I met a Legionnaire the night before I was going to join in Marseille. And he was actually in the Marines. Before he joined the French Foreign Legion, he said, you know what? The Marines are in war right now. If you want combat, the best training, go to the Marines. And so I went back and joined the Marines.
No shit.
And then,
But what was it like? What inside you as a kid?
Oh.
Right from that.
You didn't hear the story about the bike?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's something more than that.
Well,
I think
I
it's something that
stole my
grows. In
bike.
you,
You
right?
know, that's a good question because I think every SubStars and just kind of my mindset stemmed from Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid. It's a video game, this is my first tattoo. I want to get a shot of that. Out of heaven.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It released the year I was born, 1989. And then it's about this legendary soldier turned mercenary, and he's like a solo operative, secretive, and it really goes into the storyline and the way Hideo Kojima makes his video games. It's kind of how I want to do with SubStars and any type of thing that we do with SubStars. Basically have a story behind it and make you feel like you're living a movie. And so the thing with his video games is that it's such good gameplay, the storyline's so well put together that people, his whole goal was that you're not just playing like some video game for whatever, the entertainment. It's an immersive experience, and you're basically playing a video game.
You're living it.
You're living the video game. And so that's why VR, the future, if you could live a movie, live freaking American Sniper, instead of just watching the movie, then that's going to be way more immersive and a way crazier experience for everybody.
So let's go back. I want to unwrap something because there were two things that you said when you were talking about how you started SubStars, or at least you said something about you started it as a white belt.
Yeah.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well,
I mean,
so
you
I
ran
was
into it.
training-
Like, what happened at that time?
So-
What gave you the idea?
Yeah, so I was doing the 2-a-days, training a lot. I was doing the Naga, New Breeze, local IBJJFs, and then I was looking for just whatever tournament there was. There's like a smaller one in Naples, and that was really cool. It was just like a no gi, any
one-off,
submission.
little
Yeah,
one-off.
one-off. And then
You just want to compete.
Corey from the over there in Naples. And I think he's up in Tampa now. Black Tie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
He was running that. So shout out to Corey. He actually competed with us against Jim Allers. Anyways, it was just really cool in competing in that smaller tournament just because it was very different. I was watching Flow Grappling, of course, every type of YouTube and stuff like that. And my favorite promotion was Fight to Win. Fight to Win, I thought, did the best job as far as entertainment and kind of what Jiu-Jitsu needed with the lights, walkout music, kind of like a real like a
fight.
UFC.
I went to the Fort Lauderdale show. It was a
Awesome.
great show.
Right, and so it's a great experience compared to other tournaments where it's like in a high school basketball gym. There's 10 mats going on at the same time. And you don't so if you're not training jiu-jitsu, you're lost, unless you're there because you're somebody's, girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. And so you're just trying to cheer on your friend. But man, those events are usually they're delayed a couple hours or something. So you're there till midnight. You don't know when your match is, and then it's not very entertaining. And so for the competitor, it's cool because you get the competition experience. You get a glory from the medal. You add to your accolades. However, not only that, you're not getting paid. And
That's
so you're
a big
paying
question I have.
$120.
What's going on? Is that what's changing the game now with all these big shows or all these shows with big fighters?
Well,
are they getting paid? Is that something we could talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the promotions now, the big fighters wouldn't compete unless it was unless they were getting paid.
Okay.
And so the other thing is, like, just for a local guy or trying to come up, it's expensive paying $100 to go to this tournament for like a medal, you know, and then which is nice, you know, because then you can get sponsors, but maybe you can pay $100 for an event that has good media because there's not even media there. Yeah. And so another problem that I saw is I'd tell my buddy, hey, take a video of me so I could post it on my Instagram, you know, and then they would forget to press play. I'm like, motherfucker, I paid $120 now, and you're sitting there talking with whoever that, you know, and you forgot to press play. What the fuck? And so it was a very simple model for SubStars. Originally, I wanted one every week and one belt per week, so it doesn't take 8 hours. It only takes a couple hours. And it's like white belt the first weekend, blue belt the second weekend, purple, then brown. And then once every 2 months have like a elite black belt tournament or something. And then, and so you get competition experience, move on up, you know, have good media, get paid to help pay for gym memberships. And then you can work your way up and if you're kicking ass, you know, if you win the white belt tournament, boom, go to the blue belt tournaments from now on. If you win that, you work your way up. Shit, if you're a beast ass blue belt, then you could go and compete with the black belts, you know, like a ranking structure. But, you know, starting off, so it was like a simple thing. It was 3. It was one match at a time, a cool venue, because that's another thing, is high school basketball gym is fucking boring, you know? And so if you go to like a bar or a brewery or somewhere, maybe they can bring in some other people, some other audience, to watch jiu-jitsu too, you know? And so then, or somewhere with a ton of people. The first event, I was going to have it at a trade show. You know, with 20,000
Did I see some stuff
people.
out in the park in the beginning? Did you do this outside?
What?
Did you do on your YouTube page? There's a lot of videos outside. Is that just promo stuff?
Oh no,
that
was one of we did like a open mat for Art Basel.
Okay.
And then we had these things called duels, which I think is still pretty cool. Which maybe we'll do in the future. Basically, you call somebody out. It's like a call out tournament, like wrestling.
All right.
And then what's it called? Will Abreu actually came up with this idea for jiu-jitsu for when we were talking. I mean, I'm sure everybody else came up with the idea, but
let's give us just shout out one person.
Yeah, right? You know.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks. I just wanted to shout him out. He's been helping with a lot of like ideas and stuff like that, especially as a white belt. You know. Okay. So a lot of people helped and gave us complete support since day one. But anyways, the call out tournament was pretty cool. You show up. You pay like $25 and you call whoever out. And then basically you put it in a pot. Whoever wins takes the money.
Okay.
And so then it's like an open mat, but more competitive. And so we did it at the park. People, you know, walking by, you could see, check it out. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, that's jiu-jitsu. That's dope. You know, what are you? Blah, blah. And so to try to just get exposure. And I like that park too. Like, I think outside events are fun. And it's a cool venue too, you know, especially in Miami. You have the freaking bay there, palm trees.
Is this? And we talked a little bit about just before. You asked me if do I do this full time? I said not yet. But what do you do? Is this it? Is it SubStars it, or do you have a 9 to 5? Are you splitting your time?
So it's not really a 9 to 5. I do property real estate with investment with my father. We first moved to Miami in 2009, actually right before the Marines, and during the crash, and we got some property, and so I basically got it, fixed it up, so that he could come down and manage it. And then once that was taken care of, then I left for the Marines. Okay. And then once I got out, I came back and just been doing that since.
So you started as a white belt. You said something else before, that it's hard to get brown belts.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was hard to get people to sign up for the tournament.
Who is this guy?
Yeah,
but you said specifically,
where do you even train?
Yeah,
right?
You specifically said something about it's hard to get brown belt to sign up. What is it about that level?
Well, because I was
those belts?
so I think for me, just the whole setup, I think the jiu-jitsu journey kind of like was, I don't know, it was interesting just because I think I was started at Fight Sports, but then once I met James for GF Team, I was training there, and then there's like Sunday open mats where a bunch of gyms would go, and then So then it's like, all right, now I'm training with all these different gyms, and I know all these people. I know their training style. I'm rolling with everybody. Oh, I think he would be good against this guy. Oh, there's kind of beef, from within the community. And so then now I'm like knowing everybody, and so for the local people, I kind of got like an insight of, oh, this would be a good matchup, but this would be fire, and then kind of get one gym versus the other.
Okay.
And so I think I had a pretty open mind as far as the jujitsu and each gyms, and instead of just like training at one gym and then that's all I know, because I wouldn't know who anybody else that's around the city, and so as a white belt, I think I got exposed to a lot of the people, and so and then the business model at the time was just white through brown belts, like one per week per month, and so then that's why. Man, I had $1,000 cash prize, and then for the brown belts, and it was just I had like 4 people sign up, and so I'm like, fuck, man, 2 of them were fight sports, from where I train, and so I'm like, all right,
just handing it to you, buddy.
So
what is it about the brown belt? Is it just at that level, or there just fewer brown belts? Is it
level at the time?
At the time,
because
it's not like that anymore.
No, now it's like shit, everybody on the planet,
yeah,
and that's MMA included,
I got you.
So
let's fast forward. We haven't heard from Drew yet.
What up?
So how did you guys meet? Tell us how did you guys? I mean, you met at GFT, but like, how did this whole thing go? And hey, Drew, I got this idea for SubStars. Was it already going on?
No,
tell us the background.
Got him in a leg lock, and hey,
no, I didn't start doing leg locks until.
So the same guy that fucked up our knee fucked up his.
No, that's me and Junior, man. But so James brings him in the gym, and off the rip, it's like 3 Marines talking, he's just talking shit, and had a good roll because he was a green belt at the time, and I was like, how the hell does this green belt know all this stuff, right? So we had a good roll, and then see him at the Mahachas and stuff, and there was was it the first SubStars at the tank?
Well, the tank was the 5th SubStars event.
No, but I'm saying the first one at the tank where I competed against Tony.
Yeah, first one at the tank.
Yeah, so I heard that you needed a brown belt, a 160-pound brown belt, right? And I was like, shit, I'll be that brown belt. And I ended up going against Tony Mello, and we had an awesome match. Like, it was just back and forth the whole time. He had me in a heel hook, and it's like somehow I got out of there, and he caught me in a triangle, got out of there, past his guard. Like, the match was crazy. And
then you won in overtime.
Yeah, I won in overtime with a takedown.
Wow.
So,
that shit was dope.
Yeah, it was real cool. And from there, we just started talking more, and then he started coming with the idea of like pay-per-views and stuff. And I know Chewy, like Jujitsu, so I know him like personally. So like we went up to Kentucky, and I flew up there, and we both drove down, and it's just like talking to him the whole way. And it's just like, we just got cool off of that. And it's just like, all right, just had a kid. I got to, do this 9-to-5 thing as I work with the youth. But, any free time I got, just like help him out with SubStars. So he's just kind of what's brought us here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's jump into this card, because I don't want to. There's a lot to unpack here when it comes to the card itself. But I'm dying to know about the sumo side of this. So we'll talk about the card. We'll talk about the jiu-jitsu last. How did this happen? What's the fit here? What's the
So I think the fundamental thing with jiu-jitsu is the audience is just pure practitioners, and so the outside person isn't really interested in watching jiu-jitsu, or know really anybody in jiu-jitsu. I mean, before I started training, I didn't know anything.
Okay.
And so then I'm thinking, okay, what would I want to see that could kind of draw in a different audience? And then also, how can we get celebrities involved?
Mm-hmm.
So the original idea was to try to get NFL or retired NFL sumo, just because I think their skill set in football can translate easily into the sumo techniques and the rule set. And so it was hard for me to get the NFL players. I was thinking. Okay,
so you would have gotten NFL players and then had them train in sumo, or there are guys out there that train?
No, like I think just the rule set. If you're a defensive line or I mean, I guess it all started with one of the sponsors is a retired NFL player, and we're talking about martial arts, and he would do hand techniques for getting past a certain tackle.
Okay.
And so it reminded me of sumo.
Okay.
You know, just
All
pushing each other. They would just literally push each other, and then you have to get past the hands. You know, and so then it's like, man, this is perfect. And they obviously NFL. We could tie in NFL and that whole audience to this. That would be great. And so really, I'm trying to with SubStars put on a show. You know, that's entertaining for everybody. One, for the competitor. It's a cool environment, a cool platform. You know, there's a nice crowd. People are excited. A cool venue. Great media. And then for the spectator, so like a rule set that's exciting. That there's not as much stalling. Quick, fast pace, submission heavy. And then something that's they can be entertained. You know, and so I think with sumo, it'll break up the card and the whole event, kind of like to transition between.
So
the main events.
can you explain that part? We didn't go into what is it? It's I pulled the card and it said like celebrity sumo, but tell us a little bit, like get into the finer details about what this is going to be. Yeah,
so it's going to be a round robin tournament. We have Anthony Rumble Johnson, who's former #1 UFC light heavyweight. Then we have Curtis Razor Blades, current #3 heavyweight, who's on a tear, just knocked out or TKO'd Junior Dos Santos. And then we have Yamamoto. He's 600 pounds. He's a 4-time sumo world champion.
Say what?
600 pounds, man. And,
heaviest in history, right?
Heaviest Japanese sumo. I think there's 2 others, like a Mongolian sumo wrestler, but heaviest Japanese sumo in history. And man, and then we also have Takashi, who's 210 pounds. He was also a Japanese sumo champion, 5-time collegiate. And so it's a round robin, best 2 out of 3. So it's going to be just one match is going to have the best of 2 to 3 rounds. And then whoever wins the most matches wins the tournament. And I think, man, I'm just really super excited for this. I think it could really take off as like addition to SubStars. I think it'll be really entertaining, and I think it's going to be easy to cross different markets too, because the rule set is simpler, and matches last only seconds to 30 seconds. So they're fast paced, like constant action, and to win is pretty easy. Like isn't too difficult. You know, you push somebody out of the ring, or you push somebody to the ground, or have any part of their body touch the ground besides their feet.
Now, you think sumo is going to be the trend in SubStars, or are you going to potentially add different type of arts to that?
So I have like an exclusive contract for events with USA Sumo, and they're the largest sumo organization and league outside of Japan. And so we're definitely going to be doing sumo pretty heavy in future events. But SubStars and Jujitsu and elite grappling is the main portion of every show. The celebrity sumo, I think, is just going to be kind of like an intermission type exhibition to separate the undercard from the main event matches. And so I think we could just grow from there, you know.
Alex, you got to tell them about the ninjas, bro.
The ninjas. We'll get to that.
I did. Yeah, you know what? That's
Easter eggs. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for some Easter eggs out there. What should we be looking for?
We're going to hold on to that one for a little bit?
Yeah, well, we could talk about that now.
Okay, yeah. Dude, go ahead. Ninjas, go.
Well, yeah, so like another portion of SubStars is it's like we said, it's like a show. And so we're not just putting, you know, this world champion versus that world champion. We're having not only our matchups very, you know, there's hype and heat behind them, rematches, but with the celebrity sumo as part of the entertainment, but we're also doing a show aspect so everybody can be interested. It creates like an atmosphere and that movie-like experience. Okay. And so what we're doing for this event, continuing from our event from July, we're having the Japanese taiko drums, and so that's gonna just create like that kumite blood sport type.
I was at that event. I was at your last event at the Tank. That was a great event.
And so my best compliment was, man, I felt like I was in a movie. And I was like, damn, hell yeah, that's nailed it. You know? So this one's gonna be more so with because we're gonna have actual samurai in armor come out with the main event fighters each one. So there's gonna be one samurai per fighter, and then as they walk out, the samurai's gonna come out. we're gonna have Japanese. We're gonna have girls dressed up as ninjas, and they're acrobats.
Okay.
And so during the walkout process, they're gonna be doing flips and contortions.
Now, are you sharing this for the first time, or do people already know about this?
I mean, I
some of this is
hinted
out
it.
there, right?
I hinted it, but I never went in depth. So I
Okay,
think
that's-
this is
yeah.
hopefully, you know.
So we usually put this out a week after we record, so this isn't going to be out
Still
today.
before.
So
Still
we got a
before the
week
event.
to.
Yeah.
It's under wraps probably till next Monday.
Okay.
Or not this Monday, the following Monday. So.
Dope.
So
now-
I guess so now we just filmed like a promo video with the samurai, and so our event promo video is going to be really artistic and kind of we're trying to make it seem like these fighters are actually doing samurai duels, and so not just like grappling match, you know, like samurai duel, like some ancient, you know, Japanese type Morimoto Musashi type shit, you know, and so. We're going to get a feel for that with a samurai. Each fighter is going to be like their own samurai for a duel. And then the ninja girls acrobats is just going to be part of the show to make it entertaining and have that whole
pretty dope.
atmosphere to create that unique experience, you know, because
Gotcha.
at the end of the day, we want somebody to walk out like mind fucked, you know, like, damn, what the fuck was that? You know, when's the next one? Holy shit. And so that's why for us, I think we're
I
just...
got an idea for you, man.
Yeah.
Kung Fu guys with the fucking hair wig back to here. That flying like.
Yo, that'd be
Doing that.
awesome. We're so
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He's got more.
Well, so it's funny you mentioned that, just because the original idea was to have it at the Adrian Arsht, which is the second largest stage in America. It's a huge theater venue, and we're gonna have these crazy build-out sets like Mortal Kombat, and have like Japanese pagodas, and it was gonna be a palace set. And the backside was going to double as bars. And so we're going to have the people fly around like Crouching Tiger,
There we
Hidden
go.
Dragon.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so then they would be flying around during the matches on, you know, the harnesses and go from one portion of the palace to the other. And so it would be a totally immersive type experience with like hanging acrobats and
That's
stuff
dope.
like that.
Looking forward to that.
So you nailed it for sure.
Well, we're gonna
got
be
the
there. We're gonna
same-
be there at this next event. So
Same wave
so-
pattern right there.
So
There
let-
you go. Same
wave
wavelength.
pattern.
You mentioned 2 UFC fighters that are on the card, right? Is Anthony's not fighting? Rumble Johnson isn't fighting in the UFC right now, right? He's
coming
trying to make
back.
his way back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he got into professional,
But now he's
competitive
a
lifting.
totally different man.
Yeah.
We had a interview with him and Curtis during Super Bowl weekend, and he is ready to go for the UFC.
Yeah.
He's like straight up like a NFL
Reset.
person, like super. Like he's massive and
Yeah.
lean as fuck. And
Yeah.
I'm like, he's scary.
So there's a third UFC fighter. I guess
Dustin.
there's 2 active, and then now you have Dustin is the second active fighter.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
So, actually, like that one, I reached out to him. He was supposed to do a match with Jay-Z Cavalcante. And so there was like, so that was a really exciting match I wanted to do. Jay-Z's been very supportive since the beginning, giving me his advice. He had a lot of fights over in Japan, which are my favorite promotions because of their show aspect. And so I wanted to get him a match. However, some last minute changes happened with the main event, and so we had to put in Dustin Poirier for Garry, which we are very happy with. Man, we're excited. Unfortunately, we'll have to save Jay-Z for the next event, but we have somebody very interesting for Jay-Z.
Breaking news.
Oh shit! So
Can you say?
Are you dropping that now?
I'm deciding. I think I have to wait. Sorry, guys.
You don't.
Sorry.
No,
Well,
listen.
hey, let us know
You
first.
got to come back.
Let us know first before you put that out there.
It should be released during the pay-per-view, actually.
There we go.
So what do you think personally about that matchup? You want to comment on that matchup, Poirier, Tonon?
I mean, I don't see Poirier getting out of Tonon's.
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's like...
Poirier is tough, but I mean, Tonon is Tonon.
Yeah,
Like that's my favorite no-gi grappler. So
And Tonon,
Yeah,
I mean,
exciting.
he's trying to... Is he still fighting overseas? He's not fighting.
Yeah,
he's not fighting in the US
fighting.
yet.
He's at one championship. He's fighting for the title in April. And so so it's pretty interesting because he's really he's making a name for himself.
Aspiring MMA fighter with that jiu-jitsu background, fighting an active MMA fighter.
Right.
I mean, this has got.
It's
a good match.
fireworks.
I like. Yeah, there's fireworks. I like it. At the same
thing
time,
is-
I think, in my personal opinion, no disrespect, I think Poirier is going to be in way over his head.
I think I mean it also shows the training camp and then your strategy too. I think if you can focus on certain escapes, from certain positions, and I guess survive until the end where you can, because the overtime, there's first to score overtime rounds.
Okay.
Then I think Dustin has the chance to really to take it in the overtime round.
Okay.
From just like MMA, shot defense and wrestling type of
So
training.
can you go over that
regimen.
format? Because I've only been to one
Yeah.
show, but go over the how that works, the point system, and then the overtime.
So the there's going to be 10 matches going up to the Celebrity Sumo, and then they're all going to be 6 minutes submission only. The legal techniques are slams, scissor takedowns, and spinal locks. Everything else is legal. There's gi and no gi, heel hooks are allowed, and leg locks. And so once you get into the and then there's only 3 2-minute first to score overtime rounds.
Okay.
That's the only other difference. If nobody scores in the overtime rounds, then it's going to be a ref's decision. And then the main event matches, they're going to be 10 minutes submission only and unlimited first to score 2-minute overtime rounds. So it's not left up to the ref.
Okay.
And so the difference, so there's going to be 4 of those main event matches. There's going to be the Keenan and Gaudio rematch.
Yeah. That's a big deal as well.
Yep.
I know the one that stands out to me that I saw was Nicky Rod and
Nicky Rod,
Roosevelt Souza.
Yeah.
I'm still a little confused as to what happened. Again, I was at that match.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the controversy side of that? I mean,
Yeah.
I know for me personally, I didn't understand the rules. It was my first SubStars event. So I didn't know and really understand the overtime aspect of it, but I didn't know what all the fuss was about. But I did think that Souza
Got the sweep.
I thought he got the sweep and I thought he won. And then I was like, what happened here?
Yeah, so you have to hold a position for 3 seconds, and then if you land a sweep or a takedown or whatever. For that event, the rules were kind of different. For the overtime, we had 1 minute overtime rounds first to score, but the first 2 started standing, and then after that, it alternated. You get to choose your favorite guard position, or if you want to be on top. So if I want to be De La Riva on top or half guard, top half guard, I can start like that and then boom, go for a minute, first person to score.
Okay.
Goes. And so the controversy was that Roosevelt landed a sweep on Nicky Rodriguez, and this is during the Nicky Rod challenge.
Yeah.
And so if he would have won that, then the prize money would have reset down to the starting off prize money, and then Nicky wouldn't have won, the challenge.
Okay.
And so, but anyways, with the referee, he didn't see that it was. He didn't feel like it was a 3-second control for the sweep, and so he didn't award the points to Roosevelt. And so then, sure enough, the very next round, Nicky Rod came back with his own sweep to win it. And so that was. That got a huge reaction from everybody, just because it was a pretty big sweep too. I think it was like over the head.
Do you have a personal opinion about it? Can you comment?
I mean, I don't really want to comment. Everything comes to me, and that's why I'm paying the refs to take all the slack. But the end.
So, Drew, what's your opinion on that fight?
He trying to throw me under the bus.
What do you think? For real, what do you think?
No, I mean,
did you see it? I know you were running around with a clipboard.
I was the
that
fighter
day.
babysitter, so I was just like, I was running back and forth, like trying to take care of fighters and stuff, and I'm looking. And
I gave you an out. You're
welcome, brother. Hey, I don't know, but hey, the ref said that Nicky Rod won, but I'm looking forward to this rematch.
Yeah,
it's going to be fireworks.
And this is gonna. I mean, you also what match was that? Was that Nicky's? Was that his third?
That was the second one.
That was the second match.
And then the final one was against Quentin Rosenzweig, which he ended up tapping out.
Okay.
So I mean, I personally think from all the matches, that I've seen Nikki in, besides like Keenan Duarte, at Fight to Win, and at ADCC's, I think Roosevelt really had had a good match. I think he won throughout the submission only portion.
Okay.
If it was like a ref's decision, I think he should have won that, just because I think he was the dominant athlete during that match, and he was kind of guiding the rest of the time.
Okay.
That's why I think this rematch is going to be very exciting. You're going to see a lot out of Roosevelt, and I think you're going to see a really equal matchup.
And you got Nicky Rod. I mean, that'll be his first fight of the day, versus that was his second fight in his own, the tournament named after him, the tournament with the SubStars event.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see, and I mean, just the experience that he's gaining in the time between then and now.
It's going to be huge.
The level of competition that he's had in front of him.
Right.
I mean, he's.
The thing is also, you see Roosevelt winning American Nationals, gi and no gi, like double gold. You have he won world champion as a brown belt.
He's a beast, absolutely.
And so I think it'll be good for both of them, because still at the end of the day, Nicky Rod is competing against the top guys in the world.
Is he still a blue belt?
Purple belt.
Purple belt now.
Oh, he's a purple belt.
Yeah.
Oh,
So where do you see SubStars this year doing how many events?
3. So
3 events.
2020, we want to have 3 events. The next one, June, July, possibly August, depending on certain main event, which will be very exciting. And then so this summer, to be announced.
TBA, baby.
So looking the next one this summer, probably like 5 months, 5 months out, and then we want to have another one. Ideally, November 10th or 11th again for Veterans Day or the Marine Corps birthday.
Nice.
We want to have like the biggest one, Veterans Day or Marine Corps birthday.
And you mentioned Mission 22 is helping out in sponsorships, but what are you guys doing? What is SubStars doing with Mission 22 to help vets? So
the Mission 20. So we are donating 10% of all the pay-per-view proceeds to Mission 22.
Awesome.
And so. It's this event, because it got so much attention.
Don't worry.
My bad.
Forgot about those. That's all right.
That's tight. I didn't know that. Oh shit.
Little comic relief.
Now, hopefully we can raise some good money for them. We've been just growing a lot over the past year and a half. So it has been more growth for the company, and so we haven't helped out as much as we'd like to. But hopefully with the pay-per-view this time and the ticket sales, we're selling, there's 2,400 seats at the venue. We could raise some serious money for Mission 22. Another thing that we'd like to do is just raise awareness to all the gyms in the area. Whenever we go to a different gym, we ask them to sign up and partner up with Mission 22, because the more partners that they have with their program, the more combat veterans they can give scholarships to. If I knew about it, I would have reached out to whatever gym and that had the scholarship and tried to get 3 months of, free jujitsu. I think their program is 3 months of the scholarship. And so if gyms can just sign up, it's free to sign up. They just email Mission 22, and then once they become a partner, the Mission 22 will pay the gym for their
3
fees
months.
for 3 months.
Awesome.
Which is crazy, it's free to sign up, and you're helping out a veteran, and I think it's just good marketing for the gym alone,
Yeah,
Sure it is.
And so really, there should be all the gyms should be signed up with Mission 22.
GF team we just signed up with them.
Hell yeah,
So we're looking for vets. So if you're in the Pompano area, come through.
So when you sign up, is that something that you look? How does it work? How are you trying to get vets in? Do they just want to have you as a partner so that if they have a vet in your area, how does that work? Give us a little bit of behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, Mission 22 and We Defy, they have their network. So if a vet goes to them, they'll say, okay, well, this is where you're at. Here's
These are the gyms that will pay.
Yeah, but if a vet comes in our school, we'll say, hey, are you a combat vet? See whatever criteria you need, and it's all right, we'll push you towards Mission 22 or We Defy.
Okay, a couple of the guys are donating to We Defy as well.
Yeah,
right.
So,
Tonon and Gordon Ryan, right?
Yeah, which is awesome. We Defy is doing pretty much the same thing as far as helping combat veterans and service disabled veterans get rehabilitated through their PTSD through Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
And so, I mean, anything that, they're very supportive of that. And so hopefully they can raise a ton of money for We Defy as well.
Okay.
And so, I mean,
We've been talking about Mission 22
And we're gonna
probably
push. I
since.
think we're gonna start pushing both. We need to start pushing both because
Well,
it's just one works. If one doesn't work, the other one's gonna work, and there's vets that need the help.
So we have a patron system. So we mentioned it before. So if you go to patreon.com/Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, people can go on and donate to the show. But one of the guys that's been a patron since almost the beginning, since I launched the program, CJ Carroll, he asked us. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna become a patron," but he's like, I don't want you to mention me. He's like, I want you to mention Mission 22. So we've been mentioning them on every show as a patron. So we've definitely, again, everybody involved with the show pretty much has got either military background or married to somebody in the military.
Yeah.
So we were happy to do it from the beginning. But CJ Carroll, Chuck Reddor, James Fisher, Damian Soto.
Shout outs.
Yeah. Our newest podcast patron, Roberto Santiago. Which he's
Roberto.
Roberto.
Yes.
Kung Fu, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, he's
Little Wing Chun.
yeah, he's becoming an
many
all-around
arts.
martial artist.
Yeah.
We appreciate him. He's our newest. But again, Mission 22 is anytime we've read off our podcast patrons, we've talked about them. So we're gonna continue to do that. So we'll support any way we can from this angle. So
Let's talk jits for beginners,
yeah.
Alex. Jits for beginners, for dummies, right? Because that's what we are, dummies. So give me the basics, man. What do you like? What do you?
I like. Sorry for
No, go for it.
Because I wrestled in middle school, wrestling was huge for me. Starting in jiu-jitsu, I felt like my takedowns were pretty good against at most levels, and then so for me it was really Kimuras and top game. I like top half. So what I would do for my initial videos was Guillotined Defenses, because everybody at Pro Training or whoever, when I'd shoot in, would go for that guillotine, and then so the initial things were guillotine defense, and then try to work.
Watch that tape, right?
Yeah, goddamn, right before the roll session. Okay, okay,
I've done that.
Like
Let me watch one video before I leave the house.
Oh, of course.
It'll be fresh.
Yeah. And so then the Kimura traps, and so it was like one of the first sequences that I learned, and since then I kind of just developed takedown, top half, Kimura trap game. Shout out.
So no gi.
Your Kimuras are all right. You know what I'm saying?
So you're a no-gi guy.
I like both.
Okay.
And so I train both, and so I'm a fan of both. I think both are fun. There's a lot more you could do with the gi, but no gi's fast paced, and I think you can train longer too. At least I can.
And you could heel hook.
SubStars you can do both.
I mean, the SubStars is the only one.
Yeah.
You got any kids? Are there any kids on the event card?
We wanted to.
I know you got some
We were lining up one match, but just didn't really work out for the scheduling because the kid's multiple-time national champion wrestler.
Okay.
So he's a beast, and then but his wrestling season ends actually the same weekend as SubStars, so we'll get him on the next show. Elijah Castanon, he competed.
Okay.
Man.
He was our first kids match from our event in July, and he did really well. So
We got a kid for you out from California.
Oh yeah,
Jacob the Brown Bull.
Oh.
He trains with the Mendez brothers.
he actually reached out, Jacob the Bull.
Yeah.
But so he's like what?
He's a stud. He's
14,
he
15?
just got his blue belt.
Okay, so we need to get him on there.
Yeah, yeah. We had him on the last show. I mean, his father had reached out to me, I think, when we first started, and I was like, we're not ready to do the Skype thing. We're going to do everything roundtables, kind of figure this whole podcasting thing out. And then I reached back out, and he was on the show. I think he just turned 16, just got his blue belt, but
Monster.
he's a world champ at juvenile. He's taking gold. He takes gold pretty much every. He did fight to win. He lost a fight to win. But the kid's a stud. Watch one of his videos. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
You?
Really?
Yeah.
He does a lot of stupid shit.
Whenever I tell anybody about you, first of all, I got two stories for you. Whenever I talk to anybody about you, the word spider monkey always comes. It's like you roll with this guy. He's like, he's there. Are there two of him? He's everywhere. He's all
Brings
over
a
you.
face.
Right? Yeah, man. And that's what this kid is like.
Yeah.
He did. I watched his last tournament video. Man, he doesn't let his opponents breathe. He's just
Nice.
he's
I
all
look
over
him
them.
up.
I actually, a coworker of mine who just came back to work with us. He had left and came back. He just came to talk to me on Friday, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to train jiu-jitsu again." He'd done a little bit. He went to some school where they were putting him. He's like an adult, and they put him in the kids class as a white belt. They said, "You're in the wrong school." I kept on telling him, "You're in the wrong school." And he just told me, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to this place, BJJ something." I'm like, "GFT." I said, "Yeah," and then I brought up your picture on Facebook. He's like, "Oh, I know that guy." He's like, "Man, he's fast." I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, well, that's the right guy. That's what we're talking about." Yeah, man. But I told him, I said, "Spider-Man, this kid Jacob DeBrown, he rolls like that. Yeah, the kid's a stud. Yeah, man. He's If there's ever an opportunity, plus I want him to come to Florida. So, are all your events are in Florida?
Yeah,
Everything's going to be in Florida for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I
going to
think
travel at all?
I mean, I was thinking about it, and I'm open to it. However, Miami, I think, has such good talent down here.
It's the mecca here of MMA and jiu-jitsu.
MMA. Well, the thing is, I don't think it is for jiu-jitsu yet. And
Really?
so that's why I think if we can, make a promotion where
Publicize it more and bring more attention.
Exactly. Then we can make Miami another mecca, because I think right now it's New York and
California.
LA, California.
For jiu-jitsu, you
jiu-jitsu.
really? Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
There's the Worlds there. There's all the
Pan
top.
Ams in New York.
Well, okay. When I kind of say mecca, I'm thinking the schools, the top teams, the fight sports. The GFT. When I'm thinking mecca, you're talking more from a show perspective, from the events that are coming into those areas.
And I think also the gyms there too. I mean, there's like a ton of world champions and Antos, Art of Jiu-Jitsu. You have like Menzo, like New York's got like 5 of them all within the Manhattan.
Gotcha.
And so Miami definitely has a lot of top gyms. But I think the biggest ones are American Top Team is really the MMA top gym in Florida.
Yeah,
and,
starting point there.
Right, and so then you have like Fight Sports, huge, down here, and so like there's other gyms. Technica is big. Carlson Gracie, they have a big following locally. But like there's like a difference between a facility, and other gyms, and I think California and New York have just like facilities.
Okay.
Of these huge, like, gyms with a bunch of people.
All right, I got you.
And so I think Miami is there. There's a bunch of top. Wagner Rocha just had a big opening. His gym's huge now. Technica's gym, their new opening is huge. It's awesome.
There's a new Fight Sports in the Falls, right?
New Fight Sports in the Falls is going to be crazy.
I just saw the video last night. Like,
man, there's like 4 different rooms and all this wrestling, and there's going to be events there.
When I saw Wagner set up, I'm like, man, this is dope.
Yeah.
Got one single room with a humongous mat, and then there's another room with another bigger mat. Damn.
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, it's nice.
So
And the lights, it's bright in there.
Yeah, beautiful. The white mats. I love
Yeah.
the white mats. But yeah, so it's really, I think Miami's on that culminating point to really just be the mecca, like another mecca, like you said.
All right.
And there hasn't really been that many shows either.
I want to change it up a little bit because we never got to go over. When you were with us, we were going to do a second podcast that day.
I don't even remember about
Yeah,
that.
man. Yeah, you had a
my
family
cousin
member
said that.
passed. You had to leave that day. We never got to talk about some of the kids' things that you were involved with. Is this something that you want to talk about? Is there anything you can mention? You got anything going on, or is it just SubStars right now?
He wants to make a third appearance. He just wants to make a third appearance. Book him. Book him.
Yeah,
But I mean, I know that you were always
Drew
big
for
on
another
bringing
episode.
jiu-jitsu to kids, underprivileged kids specifically, right? Underserved communities.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I was doing it I was at a program in Fort Lauderdale, and we had free reign to do whatever we wanted.
Okay.
So it was like jiu-jitsu immediately. Program I'm at now, it has more money, but there's a lot more bureaucracy.
When you say the program, you're saying just
the organization.
Okay. All right.
Right. So there was one in Fort Lauderdale that got shut down.
Okay.
Due to funding. So then now I'm at one in Delray Beach.
Okay.
Who has a lot more funding, but there's a lot more red tape to get around. So
what kind of things are you doing there?
I mean, it's a team leadership program.
Okay.
So we bring in facilitators. They do a lot of music and they do a lot of arts.
Anything sports related, or jiu-jitsu is the hope that it'll
the
be
hope is
jiu-jitsu?
the jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So you're still spreading word. Is that the 9 to 5?
Oh,
Is that the gig?
Yeah, that's
the
the
9 to 5
gig right now. Yeah.
Well, come back when you get Jiu-Jitsu approved. Sure. So let's do some listener questions. So Alex, one of the things that we mentioned before is that usually people submit questions. I think we're definitely usually like white to probably purple. We get a lot. That's kind of our core audience, and that's where the giveaways come from. If we use their question on the show, we send them again. Something you see here, they'll get something. A lot of times we send
one of
them
these
some
fabulous
CBD.
gifts.
Yeah, just tell them what they won, or we send them to the podcast store. We give them like a $50 coupon code. So we got a couple of questions, and look, just it may not be these aren't tournament specific or SubStars specific, but this was going to give some advice out. Okay, so this is for both of you. So Doug Greenberg sent us a message. He says, "Love the podcast. I've been listening since episode 1. I'm a newly promoted blue belt. And I spent my time as a white belt working on my defenses and escapes, while not building much of my offensive game. I became pretty good at defense, so now my question is, what's the best way to start building my offensive games? Which attack should I perfect first?" And he just says, thank you. That's Doug Greenberg. He trains at Bill Scott BJJ Shore Academy in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. So the first part of that question is, what should he start working on as it relates to his offensive game? What would you tell him?
I mean, I guess it depends on what style he plays, like top or bottom first. I know for me, the like top half was my thing, and so I immediately gravitated towards the Kimura.
Okay.
And so since then, I kind of just really perfected like that kind of sequence.
Okay.
Just top half Kimura, and then getting past the half guard, landing the Kimura, or transitioning to like north-south, doing an armbar, Kimura trap. Okay. So for me, I think that was a really good, easy first step for submission. And so I would go for the Kimura or armbar.
Drew?
Leg locks and wrist locks. I mean, that's where
we don't want to get him thrown out of his academy.
It's legal at blue belt, right? Straight foot locks, foot locks and wrist locks.
Same at white belt.
Huh?
Well, not the wrist locks, but the straight foot locks are legal at white belt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess whatever. But
wrist locks.
The straight ankle lock?
Yeah,
it's legal at white belt. I didn't know that. I mean,
when
I was a white belt
in the tournament systems, I did new breed at white, and that was the one thing he said. This is.
Oh really?
He gave me this motion. He's like this.
When I was coming up,
got that.
When I was a white belt, they didn't allow that. That was frowned upon. To tag legs. So.
I know, like look, when I ask a question, you're like kind of like, well, you need to know a lot more before you could tell this person, listen, we're giving some general advice. I know for me, we always talk about it depends on your curriculum. What do they concentrate on? Like, hey, look, what's next at 10th Planet is not the same thing that's what's next at GFT or at Fight Sports. But I know for me, I usually tell people what's your weakest part or what's the weakest part of your game. And that's where the videos came in for me. If I did something in the gym that I was weak at, I went home and I searched that. And then I found the Jason Scully videos. And then again, it was like, find the weakness. And then he's giving me 65 different things. So I definitely recommend that, Doug, get online.
Watch some tape, man.
Yeah, don't tell your coach. Not everybody loves, a lot of coaches don't love the video. People, at least when I started, I'm going on 6 years. When I started, my coach did not like me. Kenny did not like me going. And then he just gave in, and I used to bring my iPad. We put it on the side because in the beginning it was like me and Kenny. And then I put my iPad on the side, and we'd train. And then he'd be like, okay, go ahead. And I'd ask him a question. I'd be like, look at this video here, coach. Can you show me how to do this? And that's where it just evolved for me. So I would tell him, work on your weaknesses. Like you said, you know what you're good at, and you develop. Like my thing is north-south. I feel like nobody trains. How do you, everybody's training for the pass or for the mount. Nobody knows how to really, nobody understands, or at least at my level, they didn't understand, okay, this guy's, where's he going? Why is his head right next to mine? And now I've got their neck from the top. That's one thing that I like to do.
Yeah.
But work on your weaknesses and pay attention to your curriculum. But work on your weaknesses. You know what you're good at, or listen, you can make the things that you're good at even better. But you don't want to leave those holes in your game.
But I also tell him to like pay attention to the positions that he ends up in a lot. Like me, I remember like around blue belt, I always used to end up in half guard. So it was great because like deep half was like the thing back then. So I just focused on deep half.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like everybody ends up in certain positions a lot. Like if you're a wrestler, right, you're gonna probably end up in top half guard a lot, right? So it was good for him to start attacking Kimuras from that position and stuff. But like if you're, guard puller, but like you really don't have good guard retention, then you're probably gonna end up in half guard. So start practicing half guard.
Okay.
Yeah, I work a lot of half guard. That's my thing. And I'm working my way to the side for a sweep, take your back, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Just for the bottom half, boom, for me, I'm looking for that Kimura sweep.
I mean, it's all right.
All right. So
Like I got caught in it before or
it's all right.
something.
It's all right. So we have our second question that we have is from Gemma. Her dad talks to we
Shout
talk
outs,
online.
Gemma.
Shout out to Gemma.
Shout out to
We
Gemma.
kind of usually throw her in with our podcast patrons. I believe. Forgive me, Gemma, if I get your age right. She's 9 years old. Her dad listens to the podcast, and he lets her listen to us.
Awesome.
So I apologize for the cursing today, Larry.
Yeah, my bad.
But no, don't worry. We don't no filter. But she's doing a lot of competitions, and he sent this question. He said Gemma was asking this question, so I'm going to ask this question from the perspective. Just understand this is a 9-year-old asking this question, but I think that we can unpack this a little bit. So, how do you roll with somebody when you know you're going to lose? So I think when at 9, I think that I believe that the question's kind of coming from going to tournaments. 9-year-old girl, she's not always maybe matched up evenly. I'm guessing that's what a little bit of that is. And
She might
again,
be
I
going
think
up
it is
against
coming
a
from
boy.
maybe that she's going against a boy, or that she's going against boys that are maybe bigger, or maybe even girls that are bigger because they're combining. That happens a lot at New Breed. They, oh, you're 200 pounds. Oh, you're 140. Hey, let me put you together. Yes, I threw some shade. Yes. They put you together. That happened to me the last time. It was like I was up against guys half my age. I was like, all right, maybe last time I do New Breed. Well, but I mean, again, how do you roll against somebody when you know you're going to lose?
So I think maybe it's not just the competition aspect. Maybe it's also just training. Because as a kid, I did like competitive soccer, and if it was when it was a traveling international team, it was just pretty crazy as far as the competitiveness, and it kind of turned me off of soccer.
Okay,
and so. Maybe that could be part of the thing. If you're just constantly training and then you're going against somebody who's bigger than you, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And that's a different aspect, I think, a different answer to competition if you think that you're not going to win. If in competition, I think it's, okay, let's try to survive and not get any points scored on me, so you play very defensively. And so you're not really looking to attack, maybe, unless that's part of your defense. But I would say for like competition aspect, play whatever you feel like you can stall out the match or last.
That's a little bit longer and catch him
to
or
win,
something, yeah.
Right? Or just not to catch them, just try to win by points.
Drew's about to say wrist locks and leg locks.
Shit.
Not for a 9-year-old now. Come on, I'm not a monster.
I mean, they're crazy.
No, but
I think there's a mindset thing here that you got to understand. And, I talk about, I think I played every sport as a kid, soccer, baseball, football, quit everything. I wrestled for a couple of years, always quit. Looking back, there was never the talk about mindset or being positive. And the first thing when I saw that, I was like, okay, I understand that she may be going against kids that are bigger or boys and that she might feel that way, but it's a mindset thing. Right. She's got to go into it, and she's got to think positively, and she's got to go against those other kids like you're going to win. You have to go into that, even if the kid is bigger. That's the old the bigger they are, the harder they fall. You've got to go into it like, I've got something for this person. I don't care about size. I don't care about their experience.
That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, right? It's for the smaller person to be able to defend themselves against a bigger person, and it's technique. Technique comes from repetition of drills, of skills, right? Yeah. So be confident in your skills. The skills should be basics. Basics from mount, basics from close guard, basics from half guard, and just let that be the best thing that you can do. Don't go in with that. Don't go in with the mindset that you're going to lose.
Right.
Look, this is coming from a 9-year-old, but this is.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of people who have this question, and they might not be asking it. Men, women, adults, children. There are plenty of people out there that think this
And when I'm rolling with fucking Cyborg, I'm thinking the same shit. You know? So it's like I'm thinking the same thing whenever I'm training the pro training. You know,
I like your advice. You know, look in a tournament a little bit different.
Go for a takedown.
Yeah, listen. When I'm rolling with Felipe,
I'm
rolling with my coach, I'm like, I want to survive and hope that I catch him in something. I usually try to make him laugh, but it usually pisses him off. I usually try to say something or do something stupid or funny to get him off his game because it works. It gets him off his game a little bit. But I think people of all ages have this question again. All right, a 9-year-old's asking this, but this. It is mindset. If you're going into a tournament feeling like you're going to lose, you're probably going to lose. You've already lost half the battle.
Yeah, Gemma's already a winner because she's listening to our show.
Yeah, of course.
For
all right,
sure.
so Gemma, you're a winner.
Yeah, and it's like she said. Well, the question was, how do I
roll with somebody, or how do you roll with somebody when you know you're going to lose?
All right, you don't know that you're going to lose, right? Okay. First and foremost, Gemma, you don't know that you're going to lose. You know that you're going to get into a match with this person. That's all you know for sure. Yeah. Right, but if you already think that you're gonna lose,
you've already defeated yourself.
You're gonna lose. Yeah. Just because you think that way, right? And like you said, it's for everybody that competes, right? A lot of people go into competitions and they're like so scared. They're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to fight so many people. Or I have to fight this one person." It's just like stop, because you don't go into the gym saying that you're gonna go fight your teammates. You're rolling. Right, so I just won the Nogi Advanced Division in New Breed, right? Because I wanted to test myself to see, like, I've been dabbling with leg locks since last January, but really started taking them serious for the last 6 months. So I'm like, all right, I could tap people in the gym from this because I really like Lachlan's style, like the 50-50 leg locks. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I've been catching some high level people in the gym. Let me go test this thing out. Right, so when I went there, it was just like I looked at the medal table and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get that belt. Like I just like visualized like that I'm gonna be having that belt. And I went into the competition and it was like, all right, I'm gonna win this thing. Like I just like in my mind, like, all right, I'm gonna win it. And I won my first match by points, and then the second match, some guy caught me in a heel hook and cracked my heel. Right, but I didn't like before. I used to get so pissed off when I used to get beat, but I was like, all right, so I just sat down and I put ice on my ankle and I was like, all right, whatever. And then they're like, Drew, you're going back up. So now in my mind, I still like, oh, snap. Okay, I got to win. But I'm like, I'm not trying to take anybody down because my ankle was all messed up. So boom, I pull guard. Now, I don't like pulling guard, even though I like
there's some wrist locks in there.
I know, but I haven't really been doing wrist locks. It's just been heel hooks, bro.
Gotcha.
But I start getting. I have a lot of entries from passing, where like I'll just do a leg drag and then I'll just go straight into like leg locks entries. So, dude cracks my ankle and I go on to the next one. Sorry, I'm pulling guard. So I start pulling. I get to single leg X, pull him into 50-50, boom, and I cracked his stuff. He didn't want to tap out, and I didn't want to do it to him. So like I caught him into an outside senkaku, cracked his knee, and I looking at him and I let it go, and he was like, no, we're still going. I'm like, okay, and I did it again. Match ended, and then I rematched the guy that cracked my leg first, and then I rematched him, threw him in the 50-50, heel hook. Then finals, heel hook. So the whole point of what I'm saying is it's like I just had it in my mind that I was gonna do it, and I didn't tell myself that this was a fight. I said we're rolling. Yeah. I'm rolling with these people. So I guess to answer Gemma's question is just like don't look at it like you're gonna lose. Like you just look at it like this is another roll. Whatever happens. Like if you and at the end of the day, we do jujitsu because we love it, right? Most of us, it's therapy. That's what it is. And we get that same brotherhood that all of us know, like from the Marine Corps. Like it's there. Like you go, you roll, you're on the mats, you're talking shit.
I just want to say this as well for Gemma. I think there's two things as well. One is if you really think that, for instance, if you're rolling against world champion, at a seminar or something, because I don't think the question is just specifically for competition.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
And so it is for when you're just rolling at the gym as well. So if you're rolling with your instructor who you're gonna fucking lose, sorry, I'm swearing.
Sorry, Gemma. Sorry, Larry. We apologize to our parents.
If you're gonna lose, then go in, play your game, and then see what they're gonna do to counter you. Yeah. Like whenever I roll with Ricardo or something, man, he does crazy. like things that I never see before, and so I learn a lot every time I roll with him. Just because I know I'm gonna lose, I just want to see what he's gonna do, and then bam, he does some stuff, and I end up using that technique later. And so just go in with whoever you're rolling with, no matter who they are, and then try to learn something. At the end of the day, you're learning and building your jiu-jitsu.
I think in the beginning, and we've talked about this a lot. I know at white belt, it's easy to hear the whole like, you know, you don't lose, you learn. But I didn't really start to believe it or really wrap my head around it until I maybe got to purple, where now there's a little bit more humility. I know I understand how to train hurt. I understand pulling guard. I understand trying to survive with a black belt. It takes a little time because I think most of us, tell me if I'm wrong, you know, at white belt and blue belt, you don't want to lose.
Well, that's another thing.
You don't. It's mindset. You don't want to lose. No matter what, you smile and tell each other, and the memes you put online, all that's bullshit. You don't want to lose. We know there's a guy in our gym that he's checked off. If he taps you, he stands up and goes, check. Of the people he has it. Oh, man. And we had a little thing. I love him today, but we had a little thing where he couldn't tap me. He tried to tap me in a flow roll. It got a little out of hand. And so, but I know to
take advantage of the
it's
flow
really
roll.
Hard. It's really hard to
0 to 100.
You know, I still get. That's what I say. I'm a purple belt now. I still have a little of it in me, where there are certain people that I'm going to go a little heavier with. A little harder with, because I'm not going to tap to them.
Exactly.
You know. But go ahead. I interrupted you. You started to say something. Did you have?
I think you were saying that at the end of the day, you're going with your professor, right? You know you're not going to beat him. Your best bet is what.
No, you don't know you're not going to beat him. You don't know that. You know. I mean, Drew just told you. Did you listen to what Drew said? You know you're about to roll. You don't. You never caught your black belt. You never caught your professor.
You always want to.
I've never,
but.
I caught one. I caught
like
Kenny.
I've never
I
caught
caught
AJ.
Kenny at white belt. I think I was at white belt.
No. And I don't see myself.
Come on.
Hey, I remember when I was a blue belt, I was rolling with Cyborg. I did a cartwheel and he kicked me across the mat.
Who's that?
I was laughing. And I was rolling with Cyborg and like I do cartwheel passes when I was a blue belt, and I did a cartwheel pass. He looked at me, laughed, and just kicked me across the mat. So I mean, in that situation, just have fun. Like have fun and learn.
But I interrupted you guys.
No, I was just gonna say it's an opportunity to learn. Right. I think sometimes people get out of control as opposed to, hey, what can I learn, right? If you think you're going to smash me, try your best. But when I get on top, I'm going to hurt you. Yeah. I'm going to put a little bit of extra weight. I weigh 165, 170. I'll drop all my weight on you. Just make you uncomfortable. I won't even try. I won't even try for like a sub. I'll dig my shoulder underneath your neck, and I'll, hyperextend your head, or I'll drive my head into your side.
Some of my best gi burns have come from that elbow right there.
Yeah,
give you a little
nasty.
Give you a little
black belt tricks.
Here's a little souvenir.
Yeah. I got a couple little burns and black eyes.
Another thing too to address, I think, is at the end of the day, you're trying to break somebody's bone and choke somebody out.
Yeah.
And so it is a fight aspect. And so a lot of people coming in for the first time, I know like my buddy Dalton, for instance, who's also a partner and co-owner of SubStars. He, starting out, we'd fight a lot in the Marines, like straight up fist fight, all this stuff. And then coming to jiu-jitsu, when somebody's trying to choke him out, he's like an animal, like a freaking beast, even though he's just all over the place. So like,
honey badger
to the max, white belt honey badger, and so he comes in like a fight every time, and I think that's similar with like military personnel in general, just because, and that's why he's crazy to roll with too, and then and so if you're constantly going in and losing, and you think it's a fight every time, then that also can, I think, lead to that kind of mindset too, because every match you think is going to be a fight. And shit, me too. Like I still think maybe I'm going to catch Cyborg, but that's still 3 years later, and probably the next 15 years, probably not either. 10 years, but whatever.
What's it like training down there? We talked a little bit before, but obviously, the listeners didn't hear us talking about it. Talk a little bit about the pro training down there at Fight Sports.
Well, I personally love it just because of the role. Like, there's an hour of technique, hour of drilling, and then an hour of rolling. And it's with the top guys, in Miami pretty much. And everybody comes there for one day or another. And so you have a lot of different training styles as well. And so just I think it's a perfect training schedule. 1 hour of good technique, drilling, and then 1 hour of rolling. And you could go as hard as you want, or, whatever. And so I think it's just a perfect regiment.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the day.
tough.
But tough.
That's a tough
is.
room to be in.
Yeah. So
all right.
happy with it.
All right, so we're gonna get into our speed round here. Right. We have about 4 different questions that we usually just ask all of our guests. We've answered them at some point. I think this might have evolved from your podcast, and then we kind of kept some of the same questions. So we'll have you answer them again. They're evolving. I change them a little bit here and there, but we just go through kind of just essentially a speed round. So you'll get it in a second. So if you could go back in time, Alex, what would you tell the white belt you? You were standing in front of yourself the first day of training. You show up at the school. You're about to touch the mat. What do you say to yourself?
I would say learn the guillotine defense.
Yeah.
My ears got screwed up just because of that. So learn those guillotine defenses.
Okay. Drew?
My white belt self?
What would you tell your white belt self? What would you tell the white belt you?
Damn. Take care of your body. Stretch.
Okay.
Yes.
Still working on that,
That's a good
bro.
one.
Yeah, I know.
Still trying to work that into the schedule.
I'm still trying to too.
Haven't learned that yet.
No, man.
You know, I went
me
to I just started going to one of these stretch zone places.
How is that?
It's pretty good. I mean, they do more kind of waist down stuff.
Yeah.
There's not a lot for waist up and shoulder, but that's what I needed. I'm very unflexible.
Yeah.
You know, the more you train, the more things hurt. I'm like, right? Is it just me?
No,
I feel like I'm less flexible now than I've ever been in my life until I get warmed up. I've been trying yoga and all that other stuff, but my girl got me a Groupon for it, and I signed up. I bought a couple of sessions. I liked it. It was good.
I got to look into that psoas thing, man. I think.
I got the psoas over. I got to do some videos.
Yeah,
you know about the psoas?
Yeah. The
Oh
psoas
God.
thing.
It's not in the room. I got to show it to you after the podcast.
It
Hey,
almost
Bo,
feels
could
like
you get that little
when you pinch your
plastic
legs,
thing
I pinch
out
my
there?
legs together, and I got a pain right
There's
here.
a little black
I
plastic
don't
thing
even
that looks
pinch my
just
legs
really
together. It's
strange
weird.
on top of the box there.
Strange.
Check it out.
Can you get that and toss it in here?
Yo, I know you're not a fan.
Go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
know you're not a fan, but I got the new Tim Tam that heats up.
I've got one.
Really?
Well,
That thing is magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It goes back and forth.
Yeah,
It goes
like,
all in your
Yeah.
muscles and stuff.
I've got one. I ordered from were you on the podcast when I talked about it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, toss it to Junior.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is after. You guys can go.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It might have been on one of your podcasts.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't
Be
on
honest,
ours.
this will be a Jiu Jitsu Dummies outtake.
so the Tim Tam.
Yeah.
I ordered it, never got it. They were selling them without having them stocked, and I waited forever, and I got pissed off, and I just basically found the same one. It was exactly the same one I found, and I wanted to just. Well, I shouldn't say exactly the same one. I found something similar, and I bought it, and then I found they're all over Amazon. It's just white labeled. They're all exactly the same, and these companies just put your name on it or change the colors. So yeah, no, I wake every morning. No, legit. Every morning, and I put it in my briefcase and take it to work with me.
Yeah, I'll take
because
mine
at
to
the
work.
end of the day, 3 o'clock, the neck is hurting. It's absolutely part of my my workout regimen now. That you have you seen this before?
I've seen Joe Rogan.
Rogan talks about it a lot. Let me get it here.
Chatty Cathy. Let's stay on the speed round.
Oh shit!
Sorry, broke it.
Sponsorships,
I'm
brother. Sponsors. So, I mean, it basically you're going in. It was made for the hips. It's made for here, but then people started using it used on the back. So just think about your back, your shoulder blades being here, spine in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I go from my butt all the way up to my shoulder blades, and then I'll lay down on the floor and use this for my neck. Fucking amazing.
Wow.
I don't know if you got any of that, Bo. Amazing. It is. It is. This is hands down. Like sometimes I have to roll out of bed in the morning. I get up. I use my massager first, get a little warmed up, and then I hit this. And you got to try this.
I need that. I need to try it.
Amazing. They got a little one. I don't know how the little one works. It's like a little one that you can kind of push into your neck, but I haven't seen it. But again, this was kind of for the psoas muscle. From what I understand, the psoas muscle connects from the spine to your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody explained it to me like, when you got those little G.I. Joe figures when you were a kid, you pull the leg and it was like on a rubber band.
Yeah.
It's that. Think of it like that.
That's the psoas.
It's amazing, and
That's
and
old school one.
when you feel it, you're gonna go, holy shit! I didn't even know there was something there. For me, I have a lot of problems with just like sitting all day. I have to stand at my desk sometimes. I have one of those like very
line
desk setups.
dancing. It's too much line dancing.
Yeah, right.
bro.
Yeah. And I mean, it helps.
Round up.
It helps in the morning. It's a different day when I try when we get out of here. So okay, so it's question number 2.
I got that one.
Okay,
All right, let's
go.
see. Alex, what's your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu other than achieving the rank of black belt? And we know that SubStars is in that, right? One of the things that you're giving back to the community. But what do you want to achieve? What's your ultimate goal?
I mean, I think, with obviously other than black belt and be, jiu-jitsu world champion. I think everybody who competes wants to be a world champion.
Yes.
So obviously that's always a dream. And then along with SubStars, bringing the jiu-jitsu to the masses. I mean, that's really the ultimate goal, is to have the whole planet, watching and being and enjoying jiu-jitsu.
Putting on some good shows?
Putting on some good shows, broadening the sport, really make it a mass market type of sporting event.
How about this world championship? What belt are we talking about? What division?
Fucking black belt.
Okay, black belt. Okay.
I think it's possible. It's just obviously with SubStars taking up a lot of time. My jiu-jitsu's been slacking, so I need to work on that.
Okay.
And time is kind of running out. 30 years old.
Right. So you're getting old fast, man.
Right. So
Drew, ultimate goal.
ADCC black belt world champ.
There you go, another
for
one.
sure. And to be able to take all of the skills and the lessons that I learned on this journey and be able to pass it to my son so he could be a black belt world
There you
champ.
go.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Great answer.
I was gonna say when I asked it, I was gonna say that's a hard answer to follow. That's a hard answer to follow. That's a
I was
great
like,
answer.
let me
man.
hit them
I
with my
love it.
son so I can make it just a little bit.
Pull those heartstrings.
You know?
All right, so next question. We got 4 total. This is number 3. What's the craziest jiu-jitsu related thing that's ever happened to you on or off the mat?
Probably the craziest was I was sitting
Substar groupies, fans, nothing.
No, it was training and just like seeing a guy's ankle just snap in front of me. And I was actually going to roll with a guy before. I was just, I had like a cut, so I got off the mat, cleaned up the blood. And then the guy I was supposed to be rolling with, I got back on the mat, was rolling, and all of a sudden I hear snap. I look up, and the dude's leg is just like
Nice.
air in the air, and the ankle's just dangling right there, and the bone is like pushing the skin out. And I was just like, all right, we need to definitely call the paramedics right now. That's fucked
Drew,
up.
craziest jiu-jitsu related thing that's ever happened to you on or off the mat?
So I'm gonna follow the injury train here. Like I was training a kids class, and there was these 2 brothers. Like they were just like flimsy. You know what I mean? Like you try to teach them how to break their fall, and they just couldn't do it. And we were doing like takedown drills, and one of the kids went to go break their fall, and like both their arm bones snapped in half.
Both of them, the radius and the ulna.
The radius and the ulna. It just went whoosh. And then I seen the father later, and he's like, yo, check out this x-ray. And it was just like completely just in half.
Oh man.
Bad fall techniques.
But it was a loud like crack. And I'm like,
Yeah. That's not right.
I was like, oh man, these parents are gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it.
My man, go ahead.
Listen, man, you want the question or mine?
No, I know you. I'm giving you the last question, but go ahead. You got an
last
answer there as well.
question. Yeah.
This is
No,
his
no, no.
favorite question.
You ever had trigger finger? You ever had trigger finger?
For like in a gun?
Yeah.
Well, trigger finger. No, it's an injury. Right. So
That's what I was thinking.
Itchy trigger finger? Did you say you were a scout sniper?
So basically, what ends up happening is the tendon right here slips off the bone that it holds, right? And your finger ends up staying like this. It stays bent just like that. What you have to do is you have to splint your finger for at least 6 weeks just because of that injury, right? If you don't, then it's just going to be like limp. So 6 weeks off the mat for me from a stupid injury like that. Yeah.
That was recent. That was
two
No,
fingers
that
right here
was a while
fucked up.
back.
Yeah, I
one
remember,
of our training partners has her finger like that. Her.
I was gonna say one of our training partners was on the last episode. Andres Leon. He came here with one of those metal splints.
Oh yeah.
And the finger, he got it caught. I don't know exactly what the injury, but the injury isn't the story. He has it in a splint, and it was like kind of like really fat. You can see it's red. That's infected.
Squeezed
It's definitely broken. Excuse me, I didn't say infected at the time. I said that's definitely broken, just the way it was swelling up. Well, I think he ignored it for maybe a couple of days, and then he went to emergency. And long story short, though, it got so infected they had to cut the skin. Right? You saw it? Did you see it? They had to cut the skin and take the skin away.
Oh my
They,
God.
So all the tops, that's all gone. It's fucking disgusting.
Wow.
But
man.
he, it got infected, and it's just like from pretty much the knuckle all the way up on his index finger, it's gone.
Wow.
He sent that shit to we have a group chat for the gym, and people that didn't see him didn't get it. That they thought he was just sending a meme. He's like, no, that's my finger right now.
Oh my
and the whole you could just see the skin. It's just like pink skin underneath. It was disgusting. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's definitely got to be out for a couple months. And he was going to be I think he was going to be Miami Springs is coming.
Yeah, he wanted to
He was
do
going
a,
to be
yeah,
competing
he
in
wanted to
Miami
do an
Springs.
open.
Yeah, I think he's out for a couple months at least.
All right, check it out. Last question, right?
Now this is what. Let me just
You wanna
preface this.
preface,
I'm
yeah.
not going to answer. I'm not going to answer your
I know
question.
exactly what they're gonna
Now,
ask.
look, this is probably, I believe, Alex. I'm being serious. This is. He's smiling. This is probably one of the most important questions. You got a lot of people. A lot of people listen to us.
In all of jiu-jitsu?
This is probably one of the most important questions. Not only that you're going to be asked today, but that you'll probably ever be asked in your jiu-jitsu career.
Wow.
This is real important. A lot of people are going to listen to this answer. They're going to follow in your footsteps. So no pressure.
When I meet Helio Gracie, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask
No
Helio.
pressure. But go ahead.
Yes.
I'm going to ask Helio. Carlson, too.
What's that? Go ahead.
Wash or don't wash your belt?
I wash my belt.
Yes! Finally!
Damn, man.
Somebody.
Damn.
You won a prize. I'm going to send you home with some triple threat.
Get out of here.
From Power Core.
Get
For
out
real.
of
Right there. This is one of our sponsors sending some stuff.
Man, come on, Marine.
Why
I
do you
wash
wash
it.
your belt?
I
Is there a why?
Because it's
it's
a very
dirty?
simple reason. I just throw my shit in the washer
Okay.
all together, and
Okay.
then I wash it all at once.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
very
Hey.
simple.
All right. And have your powers diminished at all?
They have, and I still
have-
smash.
Don't look this way, motherfucker.
Let's go,
He did look right at you. He did look right at you, Drew. I'm just
He got
saying.
me the last time with a heel hook. I gotta
Drew?
get some revenge.
You know?
Drew?
I don't know about
What about
that,
the
sir.
What about the every other time before?
We don't talk about that.
We're not looking to
No,
belt
I
shame.
don't
We're not,
wash
hey,
my
we're not
belt.
looking to belt shame
hey,
anybody, but
Yeah.
hey,
No, we are. I am.
the belt shamer over there.
You wash or don't
No,
wash?
I don't wash my belt. The only time I wash my belt is if I leave my gi in the car, all wrapped up and
So you do wash your
gets
belt.
all nasty.
So you do wash your belt.
It
That's-
stinks.
That's
Hell
washing
yeah.
your
right?
belt. You've washed your belt.
No, bro. But it's not a thing. It's not.
You don't
part
wash
of
it on the regular.
process.
I get
not
it.
regular.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
but
not
I-
But bro,
regular.
I don't even. I
And-
barely do gi now, so of course I don't wash my belt.
So
It's
why?
No gi, no
so
belt, no problem.
Why don't you wash your belt? When you don't wash it, why
You
don't you wash
washing
it?
off the essence, man? You washing off the training. It's like
So why do you wash the gi?
because there's too much essence
you,
on the gi.
Alex.
Too much essence.
Thank you, Alex.
Because I wrap the gi with the belt. It fucking stinks. The
Nah,
gi
bro, if you-
stinks. The
belt
car
gets wet.
stinks.
It's like, yeah.
If you hang up the belt dries and it's
There
all
you go.
right.
So just hang up the gi and just be crusty. Be
Whoa,
crusty.
whoa,
the
whoa.
staff, all the germs, none of that doesn't just go
No,
away
'cause
when
look,
the sweat.
No, listen, listen.
time,
listen.
Half the
sweat
time you're not
dries
even
out.
rolling with your belt.
Thank you.
'Cause your belt
The
comes
shit
off.
comes
Nah,
right
that's a
off.
bullshit excuse. That is a
That's
Raul.
true.
Raul gave that
Right
same
off.
answer.
If that's true, but if you're not rolling with the belt, then what's the point of keeping the essence? Because then now you're not rolling with that essence.
Bro,
So it goes-
nobody asked all that, man.
You're a Marine Corps intel, man. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Smart kid.
Well, finally somebody's come on the show. I think everyone that's come on the show has said they don't wash their belt. But I swore that you were out there, Alex.
But why do
I-
you wash your belt? Why?
Why do you wash the gi? Simple question.
I just
it's not
wash
the
it. I mean, I wash my underwear. I wash anything I wear. It's the only thing I don't wash is the belt, like my leather belt on my pants, because it's not getting sweaty. It's not touching me or anybody else.
You probably
But the
wash your jeans
sweat,
every time you wear them, right?
No, man, you can't do that. You can't do that. They get too tight. You got two times after wearing them. That's when they fit perfectly, right?
Yeah, I don't.
So all right. So I finally, you got some parting gifts, Alex. Drew's not getting anything when he leaves today.
Damn.
So,
Let's stay.
so bear
No
with me,
love.
guys. We're gonna just do a little kind of closing housekeeping. So, foundation.
on? Sorry.
I'm sorry,
Can I
man.
just do
I'm gonna
some
give you an
shout-outs?
opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Just want to shout out to a main sponsor, Adjusting Experts. They are really making this next event possible, financing the event.
Who is it again?
Adjusting Experts.
Adjusting experts.
So if you have any property damage, make sure you reach out to them here in the South Florida area. They're really good guys, and they're a big fan of MMA and Jiu Jitsu community. They're going to be involved with us in the future. So 2020, we're just getting started. And then also Gamblers Jiu-Jitsu. They're helping us with the pay-per-view and the event. So big shout out to them. They helped us with the last event, the tag team.
Awesome.
Big supporters of women jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And then doubled the prize money for the women.
Oh, wow.
So they're really a big sponsor for us. And then we'd also like to do a big shout out to Heel Hookers International.
Okay.
They're doing a custom limited release for the SubStars event. And so people can pre-order that SubStars rash guard for this event. A lot of the competitors are going to be wearing that rash guard as well.
Okay,
So
very cool.
big shout out to Heel Hookers International.
And let's just go the date, venue, just let everybody know.
So the next, so the upcoming event is February 21st, Miami Beach at the Fillmore. You can get tickets now. It's on Ticketmaster. Visit our website, substars.us. Make sure you select your favorite fighter, whoever you support. Whatever link you select supports them. They get a percentage. And then also the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view links will be on the website. Same thing, click the fighter support. You know some fighters are donating their proceeds to charity, so keep that in mind as well.
Okay, awesome.
And
Anybody
then,
else?
There's, I wanted to say, our commentators. I wanted to do a big shout out to Jason Chambers. He is the host of a Human Weapon on History Channel. He's going to be one of the commentators. He's donated his time. He loves the event, loves what we're trying to do. He's getting involved and really helping us promote the event. Another commentator we have is his buddy Sean Patrick Flannery, who's an actor. He was co-star on Boondock Saints, one of the brothers, and he's actually a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and has his own gym and trains. And so he's going to be coming to commentate as well.
Awesome. Okay.
So just want to do that. Big shout out to Scotty Wonders as well, Scott Hendler. He's been our first sponsor from day one.
He built the stage, right?
Built the stage, yep.
Right,
And so we wanted to get him more involved for our upcoming event, especially for the one with a crazy Asian Palace set. Maybe we'll do that for the next event. But he's been a big supporter since day one.
Okay.
And so Dr. Abadi as well, physical therapy. He's been he was our on-site medic, and then he's been helping out with all our athletes if there's any injuries as well. So big shout out to them.
Okay, very cool. You want to give any shout outs to anybody? I know last time I actually want to shout out your sponsors. You said you wanted some sponsors.
Shit, let me get some sponsors.
Yeah.
Give me some sponsors.
We'll send you. I'll send you home with something to clean your belt, and then you can tag the guy. Power X Core. So again, listen. Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Keep on going, brother.
One more. I'm sorry. Fighters Choice. They've been really helpful for putting the card together and the management. They have a good insight on the whole jiu-jitsu world, and so I just want to give a big
Fighters
shout out
Choice. Am I seeing that on the shirts down at Fight Sports?
Yeah, a lot of the guys.
Maggie, Cyborg, right? They're sponsored.
Gaudio, Keenan, and then a bunch of the people. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
I do got to shout out somebody.
Go ahead, brother. Go.
First of all, shout out to my team, GF Fort Lauderdale.
There you go.
Yeah. Shout out to Abreu. We're going to start doing some wrestling. Starting
shit.
Tomorrow.
Damn.
Motherfuckers better watch out. And then shout out to Tony Mello because after our match, we started training together, and he's the one that showed me the way to the footlocks.
The way.
The way. All right.
The dark side.
The dark
way
side.
of the foot. The way of the foot.
The way of the foot.
Is that a movie?
I don't know, but
Fistfoot Way. Fistfoot Way is a movie.
you know.
With dude from Kenny Powers. Fistfoot Way.
Oh, nice.
I'll send you a link to that. It's funny. It's hilarious. Karate.
Awesome.
Nice. So like in my gym, we have like little pockets of people, right? So like we have little like crews. So we got the blue belt mafia, the purple belt mob. I don't know what the brown belts are though, but I got the Foot Clan. Now that I've won a tournament with the heel hooks, now it's official. It's the Foot Clan. So
Nice. Hell yeah.
yeah.
The clan.
Did you notice the picture behind me here?
Oh yeah, that's Diane.
Diane, thank you for setting us up with Diane. That was I think it was a great
She's a
podcast.
monster.
One of our most popular podcasts as far as downloads on the sound.
Hold on, she beat me?
Apple. She's up there. I think.
See how he skirted past that question.
Good job.
You know, but I think every podcast that we launch, people go back and start listening from the beginning.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure.
every single podcast, still does numbers, which is great. But we gave this is another podcast patron gift,
Winner.
a winner that we gave away a couple months ago. I just asked the guy if I can keep it here for a couple months,
Oh, nice.
because, or at least for a couple of shoots, because we got it. We had that podcast, and then it was Christmas. We went on vacation, and I got married over the holidays, so we didn't record for at least a month.
I hear you.
So we were out.
Congratulations.
So, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Also to my strength and conditioning coach, Anthony at A&M Strength and Fitness. Strength and Conditioning. He's going to kill me for that. But yeah, no, man, coach been getting me right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
If, I know that this event's coming on the next event, we'd love to have you guys back. If you want to bring a fighter on with you, or, just come back. You got 3 events. We'd love to do 3 different podcasts with you guys when this is happening again. Get the word out there. Again, we've been getting more and more popular, so I think this is a great venue for you guys to, talk about this. And
thanks for having us on.
I appreciate you guys coming, man. I know it was me reaching out to him. I had to talk to somebody about this. I see that
guest plug, man. The guest plug,
yeah,
right there.
You got right. So we didn't really go over every single fight, obviously, but I mean, you got Cyborg, you got his fiance. I'm not that's not her only accolade, obviously, but Maggie's on the card. I mean,
Luisa Montero. We got Keenan and Gaudio, Gordon and Tex. I mean, that's
Wagner,
gonna be a fire. Wagner,
his daughter,
Tiago
right?
Moises,
Jasmine,
Natalia.
Yeah.
So we got there's always connections. That's why I think it's kind of cool just how the card is set up. You have Cyborg and Maggie, Gordon and Natalia. So it's like a power couple right there. Then you got a father-daughter team, Wagner and Jasmine. And then the blue belt and purple belt, like in entry, and then the brown belt matches we have. They're all like OG SubStars. They all competed pretty much at the first SubStars event, and so then there's beef between them. So there's a lot of history, and so it's like some local history between the matches, on top of other the elite grapplers that we have on the card that have their own history.
We're excited, man. I'm going to be there. I bought my table at 8:01.
Oh, really?
That when the tickets went live,
Nice.
I was like, I
Hell
gotta get
yeah.
a table. I got a table immediately.
Thank you for that.
nice.
Thank
So
you
again,
for the support.
I love it. Listen, and again, jump in if you guys think of anything. I'm just going to go through some of our sponsors and just a little of our housekeeping. So again, Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Foundation, IG on Instagram. It's at the JJD Foundation. On Twitter at the JJ Dummies FDN. And then the GoFundMe is always in the link. The link is in the bio to the YouTube video and or the podcast. All right. So please check it out. Please donate. Thank you to Fightback CBD. Go to fightbackcbd.com. Use code JJD for 15% off your order. You can go to the podcast store at jujitsudummies.shop. Get 10% off with code DummiesPod13. And our newest sponsor and our friend Larry, he sent us this nice care package, PowerXcore _LLC on Instagram. Again, thank you guys so much for sending this stuff. He sent us bath salts, the Power Shield spray, and the triple threat. It's amazing. I really do use it all. I get off the mat, I spray the spray. I spray it all over my body. I wipe it down. He laughs at me.
All over your body.
I rub it in. I rub it down.
What about out?
Not till I get home. Not till I get home. And then again, remember, go to YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. You get entered to win a $50 coupon code to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies shop, our podcast store. And I think that's it. Check out Flow and Roll. We're going to give out some keychains to some of our winners. The gis that you see hanging on the wall here from Flow Kimonos. We're probably going to do something with our podcast patrons. I think that we're going to get a few of the other gis that were won. I just got to get the patches on them. So check them out. Thank you to Flow Kimonos for that contest at the last event. And then
5 tickets.
5 tickets to the SubStars event.
That's going to be a great show, man.
Yeah, we'll figure out exactly how we're going to give them away, whether we run a little extra contest or we do it with our podcast patrons. We're going to do something, and we absolutely appreciate that. That's just, it's going to be an awesome event. I think anybody that goes is going to be amazed. I think the whole the sumo thing. I think it's just a great idea. You're going to bring in some people that might not have normally watched jiu-jitsu or come to that event. And I think you're doing a really good thing. I think it's smart.
And then I mean, at the end of the day, like it's going to be a show. It's going to be fun. Trying to make Mortal Kombat a reality. So the samurai is going to be pretty interesting, depending on how the main event matches end. If you win by submission or just by points, the samurai will do something different. It's gonna be like a fight scene.
Okay.
Before the match, how it starts, and then it's gonna stop, and there's gonna be that wood block sound, and then it's the grappling match because they're like each of their own samurai, like a duel.
Okay.
And then at the end of the match, if they win by submission, they're gonna pick up the fight scene.
Okay.
And then the one samurai is gonna slay the other one. And then it's gonna be slayed. And then if it's like if you lose by points, then I'm still deciding how it's gonna end, but either the person's gonna do like seppuku, you know, or a ninja they're gonna be fighting, and then ninja might come out and just slay one of them.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the
Some
event.
Easter eggs right there.
Yeah,
Easter
man.
eggs, yeah.
So this is gonna come out. We'll launch this probably next Monday.
Okay, perfect.
So it'll definitely be out before the show.
Get them a code.
Let people know you're on the show. Let them know to listen, and we'll definitely do some more promoting online. We'll post. We'll talk about you guys. I'll take some outtakes I'll post some outtakes from the show.
Perfect.
So we'll continue to promote. So again, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you everybody out there listening. That's it, guys.
That's it.
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Alex,
Thanks for having us.
pleasure, man.
Hey.
Sip of fire,
Thank you
brother.
for listening
Let's
and
do
watching,
it. Do or
guys.
die.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Take
Good show.
care.